starting a new era, I think, for equity crowdfunding. Actually, it's quite a new environment and a new concept in CE. This is a tool for raising money and a concept that is very popular in UK, which is not anymore Europe, and also in America and US, it's quite popular. In CE right now, there are, I think, 4 or 5 platforms. We are the only one for equity crowdfunding in this part of Southeastern Europe. There are a few in Poland and Czech Republic, but not too many in CE. The new regulation that was just approved 2 days ago by the European Parliament is starting a new era, I think, for equity crowdfunding. This regulation will be applied across Europe starting with next year, and for sure we'll see new developments based on this new ground. We are referring to angel investment per se, the classical concept. I think the business angels are involved as for sure are involved as persons in the business, and they are trying to add value in terms of their expertise, their networking for the founders of the startup. Of course, they don't have the institutional approach, but I think it's more for business angeling is for the early stage startups. For the VC, we are already talking about a more corporate approach, more institutional approach, also in terms of reporting, in terms of new ways of it's a board of at least a board of advisor that is coming into place. So it's then a step forward. If we are coming back to equity crowdfunding, we are combining these concepts, and we in all the campaigns that or 90% of the campaigns that we have already done in SeedBlink, we have a clubbing both with business angels and VCs. So we are putting new money and crowd investing that is putting more money to the table of startups and making alliances with this classical, I would say, classical investors in the startup ecosystem. Each startup that has raised money in a sort of clubbing with VCs or business angels on our platform, the deal was already made before organizing the campaign on SeedBlink. So that at least a term sheet, even a shareholder agreement was signed with the institutional investors. Sanopos was an example of this kind of startups that had an agreement. So had an agreement before starting the campaign. Or if the question was how successful was this startup, yeah, Sanopos was performing good and was using in a good way the money raised from the investors. But this was the same with all the others so far, because we have started to provide different reporting to the investors. They were subscribing and investing through SeedBlink, and we want to keep an update of these investors based on the information and the reporting we are pushing the startups to provide, because this is one important feature of the equity crowdfunding. Talking with many investors, you should implement a sort of a corporate governance early stage in the startup, and for sure this is an added value, and it's a journey that is helping you for the future. when maybe you for sure also in the communication with VC, and I hope most of the startups will reach the phase where they will organize an IPO. Or so it's a communication thing that is coming to your status quo, and the way that you are communicating is clearly a very important asset each startup and each founder should have. If someone, a founder, is expecting that once he or she has an idea, a good idea, or even a brilliant idea, and next week or next month the funding will be raised, it's a totally wrong impression. There is a lot of preparation, and I would recommend for each startup, each founder to talk as much as possible about his idea, his story, and try to build a network of institutions or players in this startup funding startup ecosystem in order to better prepare. And each interaction, each discussion is bringing to the table new idea, new perspectives, and all the founders should be. This is one of the most important things. I would recommend to be open for feedback and for adapting uh, into their business model, and to adapt their idea in terms of listening to this kind of discussions, and how the more experienced people in the startup ecosystem is seeing their product or their service. Of course, some of the investors could be wrong, but each discussion, I'm a fan of this of the founders who are open-minded and listen to the ecosystem, and of course listen to their clients, which is the most valuable asset they should bring to the table, accepting the idea, because there are a lot of brilliant ideas but having no clients. We have so many plans. Because ourselves, we are a startup. We have 10 months of existence, official existence. As I said, there is this new perspective of the European regulation that is coming into place next year, which will allow us to have a sort of license, regional approach at some point in time. But of course, we are continuing to support the Romanian ecosystem in the next future, because we have seen so many startups that need attention from the investors, or they should be better prepared in order to communicate their idea and their plans. We are investing a lot into the development of our product, because the business was surprisingly raising in a very accelerated rate, but the product itself was not ready for such a success. We have already more than 1,800 investors recorded in that have recorded their accounts in with SeedBlink, and we are developing a lot of tools for making them happier with our product, and to work in this on this way of transparency and a better communication, for being aware of what's happening with the startups they have invested, to have a clear picture of all their portfolio of investments and so far.